Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Both of you. We have a surprise beginning of our program. We have a super chat. That's from Qatar, from Tambi. Hello, Tambi. How are you, dear? Tambi says, let's see what Tambi says. Says, hi, uncle. How are you? I have a talent of writing poetry. Oh, and recording them with my voice. Good. And posting them on Facebook as a slideshow video. Good. The majority of them are emotional and involves heartbreaks and breakups. Uh-huh. And says my friend and I, no, my friend and relatives are constantly demanding me to post my poems because it speaks to them and they love it. I really enjoy posting my poems and getting all those praises from people. Naturally. Says, on the other hand, people also find poetry as a sign of weakness for men. Are you kidding me? Look at all the poets, famous philosophers and poets like Sadi from Iran, Persia, like Molavi from Iran, Persia, like Rumi from Iran, Persia, like Ferdowsi from Iran, Persia. These are famous around the world. Their work is inspiration to humanity, philosophically, emotionally, romantically, all kinds of types of poetry. None of them are a sign of weakness for men. Some cultures maybe make some cockamamie ideas about this because somehow somebody shoved it into their heads to be balanced and emotional and be in touch with your humanity is weakness. In fact, that is what makes us men strong by knowing that we can express through emotions, through actions, through romanticism, through loyalty, through protection. These are all traits of men. So if you look around, there are more poets in male category, in male gender, than female around the world in the history of all times. So whoever says that, they just have their own little issues and they have something to prove. No, it's very manly and very appreciative because it helps with people's soul. Nothing is more important to bring psychological security and balance into people's lives, especially in such days as hell has broken loose and we have got villains all over, WEF and their stooges in the form of different prime ministers and leaders of the world, including the one that we have here, the idiot that leads this country who has driven this country to ground, to mud. And so we need inspiration, we need hope, we need ability to put ourselves together and stand, in front of the evil and prevail and get our freedom back all around the world. And Tambi says, Hmm. My friends, relatives, and see these poetries from people. Yeah, then some people find poetry a sign of weakness for men who express their feelings and showing their heartbroken. Nah, garbage. I don't want people to get the impression that my poems are a sign of weakness. No, that's up to people. That's on them, not on you. You're not expressing weakness. You're expressing balance, reality, actuality, facts of life, what humanity goes through, emotional challenges, physical challenges. These are all types of challenges that we get in our daily lives. So there's nothing wrong with that. And don't let them fool you to take you away from your passion. And sign of weakness, especially my ex. If she somehow listened to one of my poems, no, then all these lyrics that are written by the successful musicians and they sing and they make millions of dollars, the sign of weakness? Well, I don't think so. When they've got that Rolls Royce they're driving and they've got chauffeurs and they have villas here and there. That's the sign of strength. On the other hand, so don't buy into that. Just do what you like. Life is short. If you want to live for other people, then you can't never live. Because how do we know what other people wants us to live? Wants their taste of living is that one is different. That one is different. So whatever I do, somebody's not going to be happy. So the hell with that. Do what makes you happy. And says, do you think I might show weakness in me? Do you think I might turn girls off? No, 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 not at all. Not at all. Not at all. In fact, girls, real women, appreciate a sensitive man while he's strong when it comes to need to be strong, when he's supportive, when he's provider, when he does whatever a man does, and also is relaxed and emotional when it needs to be, and expresses his feelings. Women appreciate that. Women find that a strong point in a way that a man can communicate and they can bond with him. Otherwise, they can't read us if we don't bring what is in our heart outside and express and share it with them. Tammy says if my ex gets the idea that I'm heartbroken, she wins and I don't want her to win. What? What does she win? What does she win? What's the competition? What's the trophy? Your freedom, you got it. Your happiness, you have it. What does she gonna get if she sees you're emotional or these connects these poetries to uh, heartbreak of yours or one? So what? Doesn't she get heartbreak? Don't you get heartbreak? It's a fact. We all get heartbreak. So one uses it to positive and makes poetry. One sobs and salts at home and can't be functional and doesn't produce anything. Is not productive. Is just depressed. Which one is weakness? So if she wants to think whatever she wants to do, who gives a shit? Let her think what she wants to do. She lost the right to think about who you are, what you're going through. When you guys broke up, whoever broke up. So don't bind yourself with all that nonsense. Tambi says, okay, and that's the end of that, I guess. All right, Tambi. So go on and enjoy your poetry and let people enjoy it. So hang on, guys. Okay, now let's see who else we have here. Alexander. Alexander, I read your question before I started the live stream. However, I can't understand the question because certain words don't make sense. So if you could rephrase it, I appreciate it. As you said, so hi Mehran, how are you? Alex, male 35. Alex, where? England, UK, is it? Because I forget. And he says, when a brain habit hop is former and continue again its job with false message. See, I don't understand what this sentence is trying to tell me. It's kind of mixed up in words. And grabs attention, which is the best way to decrease this intensity of loop. Completely lost. I don't understand the question. So rephrase it so I know at least I can address it as I should. Alexander here says when a habit is formed in the brain and is active and do his job, grabs attention with false images and thoughts, which is the best way to decrease this loop. Well, I have a video based on Dr. Schwartz's four step, and that video will answer your question exactly. So here it is. I put that video link for you so we don't have to go through it as it's been already done. I have explained the four steps of Dr. Schwartz, narrated it, and at the same time wrote it down so you have it in writing. Um, Actually, if you guys, whoever has a appointment with me on Skype, I will send you the text that is written, all the instructions for four step. If you can't follow the video, which I'm sure you can, but that's another incentive for you to make an appointment with me on Skype. And we'll discuss what's concerning you one on one on Skype. You know that I have that. You go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, www.mindthatseekstruth.com. You make an appointment for a Skype consultation, and I usually throw in another extra 30 minutes or an hour, depending on how much we need to talk still on that first session. And so we'll have ample time to get to know the issues, discuss it, explore it, and address it one on one on Skype. So there it is for you. Sapu Japu says, good evening, morning, afternoon. Hello, Sapu. Says, hi, Meran, male 33, Germany. My ex goes to the same gym as I do. Oh, lucky you. You can still enjoy her presence around you. And she left me for another guy. Ooh, okay. My shrink says I should change the gym to avoid seeing her, but I don't want to leave her. I don't want to leave her that place. Leave her that place? Her that leave her or leave that place? Um, well, there are two sides to this. Once you leave the gym, in other words, you are relieving yourself from unnecessary hardship if you haven't dealt with it. And at the beginning, because we men are very possessive towards our loved one, toward the romantic involvement that we have with a woman, as far as feeling responsible, feeling protective of her. So we really don't like to see that after she's been with us, now she's with somebody else and giving what supposed to be ours to somebody else. So that's going to bother us. As I have explained it in this video clearly why you're angry after your breakup, and I want you to everybody, if you haven't seen this and you're still angry with your after your breakup, I want you to all take a look at this. 7 reasons to understand why you're angry after a breakup. And that's the link for that. So, having said that, this is going to be painful for you, especially right at the outset. Maybe if it's a year or two later, you don't give a damn because you've already moved on, you've got other girlfriends, and you're happy. And you, in fact, in your mind, you say, well, good thing that this thing didn't work out because now I got this other girlfriend and she's great. And I don't even want that one that at one time I was hurting because she left me. So you have two choices. One is to stick it out and understand why you're angry per the video I've sent you that'll help you, and analyze her actuality as it is now rather than portraying her character as it was then when you guys were lovey-dovey. And don't project that character of her that everything was fine in the past and overimpose it to her today. So that will mask you not see who she is today, and you see her physical appearance, but you have the character of the past when things were lovey-dovey on her. So you cannot understand why I can easily go on because you still think this physical representation of her carrying the same personality and care and love and emotions that she did when you guys were lovey-dovey. That masks you from seeing her qualities today. Because if you see her actuality today, you would not want to be with her because you say, I don't want to be with a woman who treats me and behaves and acts the way she does today. Even though she looks like the girl that I was with like a year ago or whenever, but she doesn't possess the characteristics that made me fall in love or be interested in that girl. So I need to see her actuality as she is today. So I need to see her qualifications as she is today in the present moment, not superimposing what she used to be to her physical appearance today. If you can do that and see her in the light of the moment as she is, her actuality today, right now, you'd be fine because then you would unwant her and disqualify her regardless of how she looks. You decide that I don't want this character in my life. She's not qualified the way she behaves and acts and reacts. And you have to have that principles and you have to have that echelon of standards and to stick with it and protect it. That's your core values. If you don't go by the core values with which the ego is involved in that to protect that core values and lead you, direct you toward following those core values and regulating your life choices based on that egoistic values, which sometimes ego is very helpful to us. If you can't do that, then your desire takes over and runs your life. Desire for pleasure will take away all reasonability away from you. You don't give a damn what your standards are. All you want is the pleasure to follow your desire to get the pleasure. That is the same as being hooked on some kind of a substance, such as, I don't know, cocaine, crack, or whatever it is, because you want that pleasure. So you really don't care about what it does to your body, how hazardous it is to your brain cells, whatever else that it does to you that is not good for you. You're bypassing all those standards and knowledge just to get that pleasure to feel good. But you have to always remember what makes you feel good is not necessarily good for you. So you must understand that if I want to feel good by using or doing something, I should also make sure that what I'm using to feel good is also good for me. Two prongs, two things in that decision. Just because something makes me feel good does not justify doing it or having it or eating it or using it or whatever, smoking it, whatever. I must also see if what makes me feel good is also good for me. So Your desire for pleasure, the pleasure makes you feel good, but is it also good for you? The person that has harmed you and is not acting or behaving or interacting with you in a positive manner, in the way that you approve and you expect your woman to behave with you, if she is not complying with your expected standards, then that's not good for you. Then you should not qualify her to be with her. If you can understand that and stick with your ego and disqualify her, then you can go to that gym and you don't give a shit who is there or is not. In fact, you look at her with pity that if she hasn't chosen me, that I'm a top dog and I'm a great guy and I'm a decent man, I treat her right, I'm a gentleman, I'm a protector, I'm a provider, I'm a nice person, and I paid attention to her, and all the good things that I am, she can't see that, then she's an idiot, that she's settling for less than me. So if she's settling for somebody else and I'm the top dog, in my opinion, so she's less than me, that person is less than me that she's with. So if she's okay with less than me, she has no right to be with me. She doesn't deserve to be with me. Anybody that she goes that is not me, that means her taste and level and expectation standards is sub measure to me. Therefore, if she's okay with below me, with something less than me, not as qualified as I am, why would I want a woman that doesn't understand and appreciate my standards and is okay with the lower standards? So every time a woman leaves you, you must believe that you're the top dog. If she leaves you, she leaves, that means she's expecting less than you because everybody else is less than you. That's how you should think. And if somebody is okay with something less than you, then she doesn't deserve to be with you. She is not qualified to be with you. The only woman that can be with you is the woman that just wants to be with you, which means she appreciates and understands quality. That's how you should think of yourself. That's confidence. Otherwise, you'll always envy, oh, she's with that person. So that person is better than me because whoever she chooses, her choices sets out my value and everybody else's value. That's cock of bullshit. How could you expect that? A woman's choice defines your values. So, but you should think that if the woman's choice is not you, that means she settles for less than you. If she settles with less than you, she doesn't deserve to have my attention because I expect only the top woman, and that is the one who chooses me and no one else. That's the way you should have it in your mind. If you have that, go to the gym and no problem. If you can't, well, okay, change your gym until you're there. All right. Holy shit is here. Must be Germany, is it? Oh, we just dealt with that, didn't we? Okay. All right. Holy shit is a bit awkward every time I see her because she did some horrible stuff to me. But it's my hometown, and I was firstly at this gym. By the way, she's completely ignoring me and acts like I don't exist if we see each other. Well, you act like she doesn't exist because she doesn't. How could you even care about someone who chooses somebody else over you? Which means her taste is below you, is beneath you. You know, it's like telling me, I don't know, filet mignon is jealous to spare ribs. Let's say you're in Paris and Entrecôte. You have a chance to go to this place, very famous, line up blocks for uh, special beef steak and French fries. And they bring the French fries to you constantly, no more charge. They just fill it up as you finish it. And the sauce on the steak, on the beefsteak is beautiful. It's amazing. It's famous. So let's say you're there, an entrecôte, and then what? Nothing better than that. So entrecôte is jealous towards cutlet. It just doesn't make sense. So if somebody chooses a restaurant right beside entrecote and the price is the same, let's say, that is serving, I don't know, taco or some or hamburger versus entrecote, which is line up for 2 miles just to get in, that's no contest. So that's the way you should think of yourself. You're entrecote, and the other one is a hamburger. If she's settling with hamburger, she's got no business to have your attention. So you should also um, behave as she doesn't exist because she's not in your league. That's how you should think of it. All right. Lokotata is female 19 from UAE. Hello, ahlan wa sahlan. Says, I left my girlfriend 8 months ago because she gets engaged. Anyway, I still get anxious and sad about her and her marriage. I always have her on pedestal because she had a body and was nice. My concern is I don't know why I still don't feel the process of moving on. I still talk, I still stalk her, think about her, and fantasize a lot. And feel, I fell into bad habits running from the pain. I have the habit of overthinking her and her husband at any life routine and feel like I'm already done. I want to get out of this cage. I tried everything, I swear, but I'm not processing. Well, so I take it you you were romantically involved with this other girl, your female friend, and you're a female yourself, and I assume that you two were romantically involved, meaning you had physical sexual relationship, and now that she has switched over and has gotten married to a guy, is it, am I correct, or she got married to a woman, uh, and then you feel left out, you feel kind of jealous and haven't been able to move on. Well, first of all, you have to understand again, if somebody is with you um, and experiences life in emotions and romanticism with you, and then she or he goes somewhere else to somebody else, then that means that person is settling for substandards, something that is not you. And in your opinion, that should be substandard. And why would you want to be with someone who actually prefers a substandard than the real and the best choice, which is you? That should automatically disqualify that person. But in general, I think you should make an appointment with me on my site, and then we will discuss that thoroughly, explore it, because that is not going to be um, long enough to explore all the details that I want to share with you and understand from your side. In the meantime, understand that the world is not summed up in one relationship and that she's not the only choice for you in this life. There are many other amazing partners that you can find. It's just a matter that you can't see it right now. People believe in things because they can see it or they know it. Because you can't see any other prospect or you don't know when that prospect would show up, you don't believe that that could ever happen. Therefore, you're still sticking with this. Also, because brain doesn't find security the same way that the body finds security. As you know, since millions of years ago, we've all human beings have all been interested and in pursuit of security, mostly physical security, because a million years ago we didn't have the brain that we have today, as this brain was given to us, developed enough to be part of us only 40,000 years ago. But since then, we also were interested and in pursuit of psychological security and not just physical security. And because the brain finds security in different way than the body finds security from a secured environment. Like I find security when I see my limbs are here, I'm in one piece, I'm in my apartment, the door is locked, I'm in a good part of town. So safe physical environment brings safety to my person, to my physical entity. But my mind also, I call mind and brain in this particular discussion the same, but mind and brain are different. But I want my mind also be secure. However, my mind finds security differently. Mind finds security in the order of life in several ways. One way is in the order of life. What is the order of life? The order of life consists of things that you do during the day. It's called mechanical process. There are things that you get up. When you get up, you have your tea or coffee or breakfast, you wash, clean up yourself, take a shower, whatever it is. And then you put your clothes on and you go out, you go to, I don't know, if you haven't had your tea or coffee, you go to some little cafe, or you go to your job, or you go to your school, or then you see your friends and you go to the gym, or you go do whatever it is that you got to do. These are mechanical processes, the things that you're doing during the day, which creates a routine. And that routine creates an order. That's order of your life. Now, this order in your life was built by two people. Before you met her, it was only you. According to what you were doing during the day, you had created order on yourself, by yourself. But when you came into a relationship, this order, mechanical processes, routine, and the order of life was built by two people. So after a while, you compromised, and this order replaced the order that you had before you became a couple. So this order was where your mind would find security by being busy in doing things that you had programmed it to do during the day. Now that she has left, she's broken up, that order is broken because you cannot do what the two people used to do, so you cannot create the same order. When you cannot create the same order, the order is broken, and the mind used to find the order in your mind used to find the security in your order, and that order is no longer there, and you can't make it because it took two to make it, or two to make it. So now, but the brain still wants the order, even you can't find it in your actual life and day-to-day life because the order is broken. She's not there to have created that mechanical processes, the routine and the order. So the order is not there, but the brain still wants the order. So where's it going to go? Where's it going to find it? In the memory. Because everything in the memory is recorded. The order is still there. Everything is as it was. And the brain cannot understand the difference between virtuality and actuality. So it goes into the memory and finds everything as it was, remembers how things were, and takes that as the real life, stays in there. Because there is an order, recording of the order that used to be, and that order gives it the security, and the brain wants security. So it stays in the memory. Most of your day, you're staying in the memory with her. Who is in the memory other than the stuff that was happening in the order? She is. So when she is also in the memory, the brain suddenly sees her as part of the memory, and the trigger file of desire, prerequisite to desire to be born, it has a file that has been fulfilled before by you, and the desire was born. But that also is recorded in the memory. So once she is there in the memory, brain finding security and goes into the memory and sees her, the prerequisite file for desire to be born also triggered. And the brain thinks that all those prerequisites needed for the desire to be born again is freshly met, is fulfilled. Therefore, the desire for her is again born, while the brain doesn't treat it as an old news, treat it as a new news. So you crave for her again. You desire her. All because everything has been triggered in the memory. All because the brain went into the memory to find security through the order that exists in the recording of how things used to be. So what's the key? The key is to bring the brain out of the memory. How? It needs security, right? But there is no order, right? So it goes in the memory for the order, right? So what do we have to do to bring the brain out of the memory? Create a new order, which means find things that you like, create things that you are interested in, research, hobbies, friends, socializing, create new mechanical processes, create new routine because of those new mechanical processes, and especially move on with finding other friends, which may lead into romantic interactions. And all that creates a new order in the actuality of your life. The brain would find no reason and no use to go in the memory to find security, find order, and then find security, because you have created a new order in the actuality of your life through your new activities of mechanical processes. That should be your focal point. Focus on everyday life to find and create new mechanical processes, to create new routine, to create new order. And through the new order, the brain stays with you in the present moment, doesn't go in the memory, then it wouldn't trigger the desire file that is going to have you be infatuated towards her and crave her, want her, and all that. So it's a chicken and the egg. If you don't find if you don't forget that one, you won't be able to find a new one. If you don't find a new one, you won't be able to forget that one. So let's do a shortcut and just brave it and go for the things that you should be doing that is necessary for your life. Make yourself busy with your life and production and advancement, and through which you will find new mechanical processes, new hobbies, new interests, new friends, and perhaps new romances. And then automatically that old story fades away, because no need for the brain to go into the memory. It lives as the present moment is and unfolds life for you in the present moment, in the real life, in the real time. Anything more, make an appointment with me and we'll discuss it further. I understand, Lokota Tota. I think you need to make an appointment with me and we'll discuss all that what you're asking further. Orlando Asuna says, good afternoon, Mehran. Orlando Asuna 45, Albuquerque, New Mexico, says, sir, a lot of people advise moving on and finding a new girlfriend when you are broken up, obviously. But in this day and age, it is virtually impossible to find valuable, decent woman. Can you comment on this? I'm very frustrated with the way society, especially in the USA. Well, I agree with you. There's not really in many of our standards a woman that would um, fall into that category that would be acceptable to the standards that many of us real good men have established in life and expect. But that's what it is. We can't do anything about it other than searching. It's like saying it's hard to find gold. Yes, but gold's still worth looking for. So keep searching. That's the only way. Otherwise, you will never find that what is very difficult to find. And you don't have to settle for something else. And just because you want to forget the previous one, that doesn't mean you have to settle with something that it looks like gold, but is not. Because eventually it's going to show up that, oh, it's never been gold. So you don't want to fall for that. Hang on, let me take my blood pressure pills. That's one thing that I'm very disappointed. All my life has been very sportish and live a healthy lifestyle. But I guess I'm rather sensitive to things and want things to be righteous and want things to be right and want things to be fair, want things to be balanced and civil and so on and so forth and logical. And I guess that has affected, partly has affected my blood pressure, even though I've been in sports all my life and I don't even drink coffee. This is tea. It's just herbal tea. And I don't smoke or any of that. And I'm in the gym every night, literally every night. Damn. So, getting back to, meanwhile, back in the ranch. So, so, so it is difficult to find a decent woman these days. Women's values have been really all shattered. They're all looking for attention because they think their value is set by the amount of attention they get from other men. And if they're not getting it, they do something to get that attention. And that is not the sign of a confident, strong woman. It's a sign of a weak, needy woman who is not the type that you want to build anything with. A woman who keeps looking for attention is not a woman to build anything. It's always going to bring tension, tries to bring jealousy to get more value out of you from more attention. And that is just not a healthy relationship. So you need to actually be patient, keep researching, and keep looking. But you don't have to find another one before you forget this one. You can forget this one based on her own doings and her own merits, which doesn't have anymore. Why? Because she hasn't lived up to your standards. She left and did something that is not in line with your values, and that should be disqualifier. And when things are not right, when they don't jive right, when she does not live up to your expectation and standards, why should you want to be with her? Why? Desire for pleasure. Desire for pleasure doesn't mean it's a good quality, it just means it gives you pleasure. Lots of things in this life gives you pleasure, but they're not of good quality, or neither they are good for you. They just give pleasure. The problem is most people think something that gives you pleasure makes you feel good. It must be healthy. It must be okay. It must be qualified. It must be of good quality. It's not true. Not true. Lots of things gives you pleasure in a way. Drinking alcohol obviously makes us feel something that we interpret it as, oh, feel good, pleasure, like because you don't care about anything, you don't feel you need anything, you feel you have everything. Why? Because you're out of it. You're not balanced to think right. So everything is like, ah, good. So that doesn't mean that it's good for you. It just makes you feel that way. And feeling that way, out of it or good or however, is not supposed to be interpreted that its representation of that thing that made you feel good is also a healthy, good choice and is going to advance you in life. No. Interpretation should be, okay, it makes me feel good, but what is it doing to me? Maybe it's toxic. Maybe I'm out of it. Maybe it's a venom. I don't know. I'm just out of it. So, same thing with drugs. So, you got to be able to have a value system that this, what makes me feel good, doesn't necessarily mean it's good for me. So, you got to be aware of this understanding. So, if she happens to not be in line with your values anymore, maybe she was a one time. That should be enough for you to disqualify her. You don't need somebody else to replace her so you will forget about her. You forget about her because she hasn't lived up to the standards that you expect. That's all. And that should be enough for you to disqualify a woman. And just because she is pretty, that doesn't mean that's all the qualification you need to accept a woman, because that will wear off after a few times you guys been together and been intimate. No longer the power of that intimacy and pleasure is going to override the expectations of the quality of life and the way you're treated and the way you each represent each other in the society by your behavior and actions is going to be important to her anymore. So you need to forget about her on her own merits, on the things that she's short in, and then move on rather than keep thinking about one aspect of her, which is a pleasure point, and doesn't let you see all the other negatives that she had. Only you're focusing on that part. Oh, she was looking great in high heels. Or she had beautiful, uh, outgoing personality. Or she had a nice body. All of that is only a temporary invitation to get to know each other. Once you get to know each other and you see what makes this body behave and function, is not really in harmony with your expectations, and that's the end of that relationship. And the same thing still exists. She's still behaving the way that it doesn't meet your standards. So you got to focus on that rather than the pleasurable parts that was just physical and sexual or momentarily. You got to look at the whole picture and then decide if that's a woman you should actually hang around or wish to be with her still, or you're wishing to be with her because at one time she was really good in both looks and behavior. Okay, that is a different time and it was a different version of her. But today her actuality is not what it used to be. And you were attracted to what it used to be. She doesn't possess all that what attracted you the way she used to be. So then you judge her based on who she is, how she is right now, and disqualify her based on her shortcomings today, and then go on with your life. And then you find somebody else. Don't necessarily need to find somebody else to forget this one. Forget this one on her own merits and then find somebody else. All right. And okay, Mary, I think I'm done. I feels like she controls me, my mind. Okay, then you also got to go and make an appointment with me because this cannot be sufficient for the concerns that you have. Go on my site, mind@6truth.com, make an appointment, and then for an hour, and then I will add a little bit more time to it. So we'll have plenty of time to discuss this and get you out of this mess that you think you're in. Ashley Weatherborn says, hi, sir, male 33, London. I have been getting to know a woman. Well, congratulations. um, one moment, guys. Ein Moment, bitte. All right, where are we? Okay. So, hi, sir, male 33, London. I have been getting to know a woman for a year. However, my friend doesn't like the idea of me getting to someone who isn't Christian. I somehow let her know my friend's thoughts. She thinks I'm influenced by a friend. She hasn't spoken to me since. She feels she hasn't got to know me, but my friend's opinion. I don't know what to do. Any advice? Yeah, you're an idiot. Simple. Who the fuck says all the Christians are better than the Muslims and Muslims are better than the Jews and the Jews are better than Christians? What the fuck is wrong with you guys? You letting your religion beliefs decide who's a decent human being or compatible to you? Your friend says, who the fuck is your friend? Is he going to be sleeping beside you? Is he going to be sharing life with you? He's making decisions for you. Oh, I don't like it that you're with someone who's not Christian. Who the fuck are you? What makes Christians better than the other people? What makes Muslims better than the other people? What makes Jews better than the other people? What makes anybody better than the other people but their own actions and decisions in life and compatibility on the consciousness level with you? So get off this bullshit and fanaticism and see if you qualify to be her mate. And if she qualifies to be your mate on the basis of compatibility on the consciousness level and the values that you've adopted in your life and how you've lived, how you've conducted yourself, who gives a shit about what religion you're from? What are you going to tell tomorrow? Your skin color is different? So I don't like that. So the feeling, emotion, and love has nothing to do with who we are, but the skin color, our feature. What next? Oh, it's a round face. I don't like you to be with a round face. It has to be square. What the fuck are you talking about? This, you tell your friend go fuck himself. You know, speaking very scientifically, of course. So I guess you got your answer. All right. And you have actually disrespected her rather than knowing her, judging her based on how she is, how she acts and reacts and negotiates day-to-day life and behaves with you. You're talking about her fucking religion, on your religion. What that has anything to do? People didn't fall in love, didn't like each other, didn't get along before all these religious things showed up in the world. Like a million years ago, we were nothing. But based on religion, now we can connect. Not based on humanity, based on religion. That's exactly why we're so divided, because of all giving importance to all these differences, different philosophy, different religion, different skin color, and all that shit. Don't fall into that trap. These are ways to divide humanity, which is one, all one and the same. And Nox 10 says, Male 23, Germany. Wie geht's heute? Geht's gut? Says, I think that I have moved on from my ex, but I have her Instagram password and I go every day to see her message with her new boyfriend. I can't stop myself for doing it. Any advice? Yes. Take that password, call her up, says, Dear, could you kindly change your password on your Instagram? I still have it, and I don't think it's appropriate for me to know about your private life. If you don't have the balls to actually make the right decision for yourself, and you're infatuated by someone who's decided that doesn't want to be with you, and you're so low in your head that you don't think of yourself high enough to say, I don't want to pay attention to someone who doesn't want to be with me, hasn't chosen me. If you can't think highly enough of yourself, then call her up and say, change your password, because I don't have the balls to simply decide that I'm better to choose somebody else and you're not good enough for me. Instead, I'm following your shoes to see what you do and who you sleep with, who you love, because that makes me feel like I'm still close. How low have I become to think that knowing about what you say to your boyfriend makes me feel I'm close to you, in touch with you? That's the deepest shit you can get into. Immediately, you throw that password away if you don't remember, if you don't have it by heart, or definitely send her a message, say, I still have your Instagram password. Please change it so it will be private, whatever it is that you do or you say. It's not my business. That also shows her how strong you are and shows yourself that you've made something important. Don't use as a crutch. That's going to cripple you, and don't need that. All right. And Nox 10 says, I feel like my ego wants to see her suffering. No, let that go. You are 23 years old. Right now, you're not thinking right. Do as I'm telling you. Don't make yourself a slave of your desires for her. Today is for her, tomorrow is for somebody else. One way or another, you got to show your desire that you're the boss. The desire works for you, not the other way around. By that meaning, you simply make a decision who is worthy of your attention, who is not. Not desire making that decision for you, you make that decision for you. Meaning, despite the fact that you can access her Instagram, you make sure you don't, or you text her, say, change your Instagram password. Simple. You protect yourself and stand for your values. Uh, Bewildered Brit says, hello, I'm not a bot. Okay. I often find it difficult to feel a desire to chase new people. Nobody compares to the feeling my ex gave me. 3 years single, 8 years with her. Nobody excites me. Don't miss X. Don't miss X? I don't get it. Is it a question or is it a statement? Are you asking me to say anything, or you just wanted to say you're not a bot? Or maybe you're a bot, but you say you're not a bot, so we don't think you're a bot, but you are a bot. Because I don't know if you have a question or it was a statement or you were, what are you doing? Sapo Japu, it says 20 male Germany, Deutschland, says, I am single for nearly a year now. I don't care about my ex anymore, but she has a new guy and I keep comparing myself to him. Don't ever do that again. Do not compare yourself to anybody. Nobody is as good as you are. And if they are, it's according to their standards, not yours. So nobody is as good as you are. Everybody is unique, and you got to believe that. Nobody can be you. Tammy sent us another super chat, says, thanks, Uncle. I don't want to boost her ego. You don't. You just live your life. Don't worry about who gets boosted or who doesn't. You just put your work out there for whoever needs it. It's not representation of, it's like saying, you know, I'm producing something, but that something is for everybody to know me. No, I'm producing something. I'm an expert in something. Hmm? You're not doing it to introduce yourself or your feelings to someone. You're saying at that moment, this is what I can create. Whether it's your real feeling or not doesn't matter. What matters is you're using your expertise to create something that touches everyone or many people. And that's your intention, to bring that solace, comfort to a bunch of people who are hurting, or a bunch of people who are interested in sophisticated feelings in poetry, or sharing some facts about human psyche and human journey. And that's what you're doing. The rest of it, whether she gets empowered or less power or belittled, who gives a shit? Don't limit yourself with all that. Don't live for one person who is not with you. Don't live for anybody. Live for truth, live for your feelings, live for yourself, and accomplish what it is that you set out to accomplish. And Loco Tota says, yes, guy. I don't know what that means, but okay. Yeah, Tambi, no. They're not getting the idea that you're sulking or anything. And if somebody does, who gives a shit? Your whole purpose of doing this is not one moment, guys. Uh, I'm rather concerned these days about uh, members of my family. Yeah, and my brother just told me that he's in hospital, and so yeah. All right, where were we? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Don't worry about who thinks what. Just do what you got to do. Stop letting these things interfere. It can even affect the quality of your poems. Just enjoy doing what you do, regardless of who hears it, sees it, reads it, doesn't read it. Don't give a shit. Express, build what you're building. Like somebody's building a car, it's not thinking about, oh, such and such customer may want this to be like this, or is it going to think that I've been doing this exactly the way he or she talked to me once because I want it to be appealing to them. No, just you making the best design you can. Forget about who thinks what. uh Ash, he's not sending poem to X. He's just making poem and posts it for his audience. So don't confuse him. Defender of Justice says, "Mm, reverse bot psychology." Banda says, can you talk about false attraction? Give me an example in your case, then I'll discuss it. And Bewilder Brit says, my question is, how am I supposed to achieve the same level of excitement for new people who show me an interest? Dating feels like a chore, and I don't know how to be excited by the whole process. The ex made me feel butterflies. Now relationships are just them. I'm not familiar with that expression. It must be a young expression. Says now relationship are just meaningless sex. No, because you haven't learned to live in the moment and you're living in the past. You're living in the memory. Memory is the past. Past is dead. So you're living in the death of the past. That's why you're not in touch with the moment that is presenting to you the amazing feeling of romance, feelings, intimacy. Because while the present moment is offering you the intimacy with the woman that you're with, your brain is actually not present in the moment and experiencing focus and full attention to that beautiful present that she's giving you, which is her attention and her touch. Instead, you have separated yourself from the present moment into the memory because you haven't dealt with the fact that everything has a duration and the duration of your previous relationship is over. That was a lesson for you to learn, a training for you to know in order to progress in life and then use that what you learned in other relationships. You're trying to turn an impermanent to permanent. That's why the suffering has started and has struck you because you haven't learned that everything in this life has a duration, and the duration of that relationship is done, is over. Now you're supposed to learn what you learned from it and move on. Yet you're trying to turn that impermanent, that momentary excitement or the duration of that relationship to a permanent situation, which is exactly like trying to turn joy into pleasure, wanting it to be every day, all the time, which is the reason why joy turns into pain because you want to turn impermanent to permanent. That relationship was a temporary relationship as an experience of your life. Now you want that to be the whole entirety of your life. That's when the suffering starts. And you haven't separated yourself from that. That's why, even when you get triggered with a new chance for intimacy, you go into the memory and you want to feel you're true to your previous relationship and that you're betraying that relationship by being with a new girlfriend, and therefore you messing it up the opportunity that you can feel and replace that whole experience in the past with something beautiful and better and new and give it a chance to see how beautiful it can be. Instead, you're shutting it down. You go into the memory, you imagine her and that you're betraying her love because of this new situation, and you never are in the present moment. You're in the past, you're in the memory. Memory is the past, past is dead. So your life has become death of the past. That's why everything to you seems tasteless because you haven't learned to pay full attention to the moment, which is the only thing that is true in your life. Everything else is virtual, and you are settling with virtuality versus actuality. That's why the actuality never seems real to you because it's always being interfered with the virtuality, which is some cockamamie idea that I want to turn that what it was to permanent all the time, while it's not just up to you, it's also up to somebody else. And that was the duration of it. You have to come to face with that and move on and enjoy the opportunities that the life has to offer. Hang on, guys. Defender of justice says, oh no. Oh no to what? Thank you, Ash. Um, yeah, it's actually serious, but he's texting me at the moment. Um, Thank you, Tambi. Uh, yeah, yeah. Thank you again. Nux10 says, I'm 5'9", 175. I feel like I can't get girls for dating. What does it have to do with 5'9"? How tall? I mean, you're not a tree. Some people are shorter than that. Some people are taller than that. 5'9" is a decent height, man. What's wrong with you? Gee. Stop antagonizing yourself for your height and this and that. Any girl who's looking for, if you see any girl in any dating sites requires a guy at least 6.1, just don't say anything, but in your heart, just fuck you. As if she's like 5'2", she's asking for 6.1, as if it makes a difference in the character of a person. The taller that he is going to be a better person. What the fuck are they talking about? They don't know what they're talking about. They have some kind of a idea of what supposedly is physically suitable to them, but that has nothing to do with anything. There's so many handsome guys that are uh, below 6 feet, and there's so many handsome guys, some handsome guys that are taller than 6 feet, but that's got nothing to do with the compatibility between two consciousnesses and how they really treat each other, like each other. So any girl that says in the requirements in their dating profile that the guy has to be 6 feet or taller, it's okay, fuck you. What kind of a criteria is that? Instead of telling me the guy has to have these credentials or that credential. But that's what they like. But why are you falling for that shit? I'm 5'9". What is 5'9"? I'm 5'9". All the girls love me. Don't you see it? They're lining up. It's true. When I was younger, I had no problem with girls. I had so many girlfriends. And almost any girl, I think almost is the right word, because maybe some didn't happen, but almost any girl that I thought it was interesting, I had a date with them. So, and I'm not 6 feet tall. I'm 5'9". So, yeah, perfect height as far as I'm concerned. It's perfect height for martial arts, perfect height for equestrian, perfect height for soccer, perfect height for almost tennis, perfect height for anything. So, what else do you want? Anyhow, that's not my best feature, anyhow. That's how you should think. Bring your your qualities out and to your attention, so that gives you confidence. All right, all right, all right. Let's keep it clean now. There we go. That's my boy. Defender of justice says, bro, I'm 5'6" and I've had a lot of girlfriends. That's my boy. That's how it works. I'm 5'9", 5'8", 5'6". What the fuck are you talking about? That's why you're so fucked up with all this bullshit that you bought into. Uh, Defender of justice says, it doesn't matter. Go for Latin girls. They're used to a short guy. Latin girls are great, great, amazing, warm, cultured, feminine, beautiful. Tambi says it's all about confidence. Yes, it is. That's what girls are attracted to. Yes, that's true. That's true. Ash seconds that motion. And CR1CK3T sounds like a character in Star Wars. 3PO. And says, hey people, hey CR1CK3T. Defender of justice says, honestly, if you take care of yourself like you hit the gym and you have even a modest amount of confidence, you'd be okay. Hell, you can get away with just having a great sense of humor. True, very true. Ash says I'm 5'9" and great at everything. I just have a fucked up brain. That's a yang to my yin, he says. Tammy says I'm 6'5" and I'm having difficulties finding a girl that doesn't need high heels to kiss me. Ash says move to Russia, Tammy. Oh yeah, Russian girls, of course. They are experts in wearing high heels. And Nookstan says I have also a fat big nose. My father is from Morocco, and it bothers me sometimes when I'm low mood. Listen, you're a man. Fat big nose, it has a message for the girls. It means something, and they don't mind it. Because if they know what it means, they would be more attracted to you. So don't worry about that. And you're not a girl. You see, don't think how we look at girls and how we find them attractive is the same way that the girls look at us and find us attractive. It's got a different rule. You look for a girl, you prefer a small nose and this and that, so forth, so forth. But the girls don't look at you looking for a small nose. They're looking for your character, your ability to provide, how gentle you are, how nice you are, how protective you are, how caring you are, how gentleman you are, and what abilities you have, and other things. You can, as you said, as they said here, guys, you can get yourself fit, go to the gym, but make sure go to a gym that there are girls there. I go to a gym that girls are very scarce. Mostly we are men, especially the hours that I go. It's a 24-hour gym, and I usually go about 7:30, 8 o'clock. That's where it's a little bit less number of people, more machines are available. That's the time that there are no girls there. So you got to make sure while you're, in shape, you also choose a gym that's got lots of population. Otherwise, then your efforts goes to waste. And Nilesh Sharma says, hello, how are you? Hello, Nilesh. Make sure you put your gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. Well, guys, looks like it's been 1 hour and 20 minutes, and we have shared quite a bit of information and answered lots of questions. Hang around for a few more minutes. If there are no questions, we'll call it a day. Just don't forget, stop getting any of these things anymore. That thing has been discussed with many experts from the beginning. Now the data is out and they can't deny it. Don't get this thing. Anyhow, I don't. If you have, stop it. Research and make your own decisions. Not because I say so, just make your own decisions, but research. Yeah. They think that everybody is being coerced to get it, and different governments force people, and constantly said, it's safe, it's safe. Do your research and understand from the experts and make your decision that way, not just because the government says so. Because now the data is out and it's all been bogus. Apparently, it doesn't help, doesn't do anything, and if anything, has lots of hazards attached to it. And Rockhill says, I'm currently recovering from HOCD. Sometimes outside things trigger it, but I spiral, but I can snap out of it without falling back on compulsive behaviors. Do you think it ever goes away completely? Listen, it doesn't have to go away completely as long as you understand the malfunction of the components of the brain, the malfunction of the signaling system of the brain, the involvement and the connection between the malfunction of the signaling system and the components of the brain that are involved in this: amygdala, striatum, the reward center, goal finding center, reward center, habit center, regarding neuroscience of habit, in regards to basal ganglia, striatum, caudate nucleus, prefrontal cortex. And if you understand the relationship between all these when the malfunction takes place, and how intrusive thoughts develops and becomes part of your habit and part of the function of the brain more than it usually is in everyone's brain, because everybody in the world, all 8 point some billion of us, have intrusive thoughts, have all kinds of these thoughts that you think others don't. They all do. But when caudate nucleus is functioning perfectly as it should, it's designed to shut down intrusive thoughts once you recognize them. In other words, in a person who doesn't have OCD or substance of OCD, when intrusive thoughts of any kind shows up, they say, ooh, that's a bad thought. And boom, caudate nucleus shuts it up. It's programmed to shut it up according to your values and your gender and so on, shuts it up. And then you go on with your whatever it is that you're trying to handle. But in OCD brains, it lingers because caudate nucleus is malfunctioning to shut it down. When it recognizes the intrusive thought, it doesn't do the job that it's designed to do. And then it hovers. When the thought hovers, you take that as an evidence that because it didn't disappear, it hovers, then it must be true. Then you go worry about that and try to find assurances, to find reasons that you want to defy it, and all these things that you think you got to do in order to convince yourself that you are what you prefer to be. But lo and behold, you need none of these. All you need is to rely on your awareness. The fact that you recognize this is contrary to your preference, that means this is not you. It can never be you. It will never be you. Because your awareness trumps the brain. Brain is not your smarts. Brain is not your intellect. Brain is not you. You're not the brain. Brain is an apparatus. It's an organ. Like any other organ has a job. Its job is to make thoughts. It makes all kinds of thoughts. In the brain that is not malfunctioning in its signaling system, it makes thoughts, and the thoughts are just discontinued and disappear, decimated. You go on, but you notice it. But in the brain that is malfunctioning in the signaling systems, then you got to rewire the brain, help it through steps that has been discussed by psychologists, psychotherapists, such as Dr. Schwartz, which has spent big part of his career in OCD and treating OCD and helping the brain to rewire it through neuroplasticity. So there are steps you take to retrain your brain to come back to its normal function. So you don't have to get rid of it because it's part of the brain's activity, intrusive thoughts. But you got to recognize that you are there to judge the thoughts, not that the thoughts are you when they are created. So when such things happen, you simply understand that this, your awareness is against, there's a contradiction between awareness and the suggestion of the brain. There is no awareness if there is no contradiction. So if you wear what the brain suggested to you or spills out in the form of intrusive thoughts or any kind of a gender identity, false attraction, all these whatnot, if there was no contradiction between what you are and these thoughts, there would be no awareness for you to even ask this question or be concerned about it or talk to me about it or question it in your own head. What the hell is this? I don't want it to be this. I'm not this. Why is it here? All that tells you there's an awareness. And the awareness is only there when there's a contradiction. And that means if there's a contradiction because there's an awareness, that means you're not what the brain suggests. Because if you were, there would be no contradiction. There would be no awareness of a contradiction. Therefore, you would not even know anything different, just like you don't have any kind of a objection or awareness when you're thinking heterosexually or when you're thinking whatever your sexuality is. If one is heterosexual, then when you think heterosexually, there's no awareness because it's natural for you. If one is homosexual, when they're thinking homosexually, there's no awareness. It's natural for them. But when there is a conflict, there's an awareness. And that tells you right off the bat, the rest is all bogus. Doesn't matter what brain suggests and what intrusive thoughts, loops. All that means nothing. It just means you got to retrain and rewire the brain. That's all. It has nothing to do with your identity or your gender because there has been an awareness that tells you there's a contradiction. And that's the end of necessary, any reason you ever wanted to know that you are not changing, you are not changed, there's nothing wrong with you other than contrary to your preference, and you are exactly what you expect to be and what you want to be and what you prefer to be. So simple. The rest of it is the knowledge, how this develops, how this works, how it triggers, and the things, the techniques you need to know to rewire, retrain, and to be able to be knowledgeable about this rather than freaking out every time that shows up. All right, guys. Looks like Pat Santos. Yeah. All right, guys. It looks like we have now answered all questions and we don't have any more. So it's time for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to our next conversation and live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com, making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.